Head Coach's weekly media session for Monday, November 14th. Begin with our call here momentarily. Our schedule will start with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor, approximately 10:05. And we'll follow through our schedule as printed. We ask that you do please have your lines muted unless you are actively asking our coaches a question. Please wait till you are called upon prior to asking your question. And please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have time availability in our coaches' slots, we'll circle back to get additional questions answered. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, good morning to all of our media and our head coaches that are participating on our SWAC football head coaches media session here for Monday, November the 14th. Once again, just a quick update. If you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please wait till you're called upon prior to asking your question. And please leave your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question for our coaches. With that being said, happy to be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach Maynor, as always, appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Yeah, we went down to Mobile, played in the Gulf Coast Challenge, and it was a great atmosphere. The Gulf Coast Challenge did a great job of presenting and putting on and taking care of both teams. And it was a good football game. We got off to a good start. We was up 3-0 and had a chance to up that lead. And we dropped the snap on the extra point, and they blocked it. And it kind of stayed that way for a while. And then it was they scored, made it 7-3. Then we scored, made it 10-7. And it stayed that way until middle of the second quarter, and they scored again, made it 14-10. And we got the ball back and got stopped. They got it back with maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and it was 10 seconds left in the half from the 40-yard line. And they was able to get behind our defense some kind of way and score a touchdown with just 10 seconds on the clock when the play started. So that was a big play in the game that pushed the score to 21-10 going into halftime instead of 14-10 at halftime. So we was playing hard, playing well. Just made a couple mistakes early, and then in the third quarter they came out and scored the first possession and made it 28-10. And then we scored a field goal, and we was able to stop them from scoring the rest of the way. And we had a lot of chances, with a lot of opportunities, and we just didn't cash in on to make it a one-possession game. And we got stopped on downs one time, and we had miscued on a couple passes in the end zone. So the defense played great, gave us opportunities, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach, man.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Got a chance to watch the game. So talk a little bit more. You said about the defense playing, special teams in some areas were good also. But talk to the guys that stood out on the defensive side of the ball that kept you in the game ways all the way through, giving you opportunities to try to push through and make even more of it.
Right. I thought the D-line played well. Zarian Hayes always lead those guys and get pressure on Shadur and kind of containing the running game. The linebackers, Terry and Hester, always played well. And in the secondary, those guys was making tackles and not giving up big plays until, of course, right before the end of the half. So they were doing the things that we needed to do. We were trying to confuse him, trying not to give him the short, easy throws, and keep him off balance, put some pressure on him every now and then, because he's too good of a quarterback to just sit back and let him pick you apart. If you just give him a little short throw, he's going to take it right now. And we didn't want to just let him do that. So we want to kind of force him to throw the ball down the field and run the ball.
Your next matchup is against Texas Southern at home. Last home game for you, so your senior night and that approach. But talk about your experience, obviously as a player, winning championship at the Division II level as a coach, also at the multiple conference experience. Talk to me a little bit about the confidence of a team and how that works as you kind of get rolling. You know, a lot of teams have good players, but to be able to put that together, what is your experience that really allows the team, once they get to rolling, just moving back and forth with players and everybody's on the same page, to see on the outside a lot of times is that magic of a team feeling confident no matter that they're able to push forward. How does that come together from your experience looking at that?
It's really, the key is for those guys to believe. And once the guys start believing, it's hard to beat a good football team that believes they're the best and believe they're going to win the game no matter what. Keep fighting back, especially those teams you see they get down 7, they come right back to score and tie the game up, or somebody score a touchdown, tie the game up them, they go right back down and score and take the lead back. And it's all about confidence. It's all about believing. It's all about buying in. When you can get off to a good start, 3-0, 4-0, 5-1. You get up to a start like that, your team is bought in. They listen to everything that you're telling them and trying to coach them and get them to do. And because they believe now, because they see that the proof is in the pudding. So they buy in, they play harder. And that's how you get those good teams to continue to win, because they believe they can win. And this is the same with the teams that don't win. You know, as soon as they get down 10 points, they say, okay, here we go again. You know, we're starting to do what we always do, you know, and they start pointing fingers and things of that nature. So it's all about your confidence, believing in your system, your coaches, and your teammates. And when they do that, when they believe, you know, you can do a lot of things. Like, you know, just take my team for example this week. We believe we was going to win the football game. We believe we could win the football game. And we went out and played that way. And we gave ourselves a chance. You know, we gave an opportunity. We need one more score to really make it a one possession game, but two possession game. And we really felt like we was going to score because we won, and we thought we could win the football game, and the guys played like it. So that's the difference.
Thank you, Coach. Andrew, I have time for one follow-up question.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Coach Maynor, follow-up question in terms of that is, as you close up the season, when do you start reviewing everything in terms of how you plan to move forward with your program?
We'll go back and self-scout and see where we were strong, where we was weak, what we need to improve at, what positions, and then we'll hit the road and get those positions and get those spots filled, and we understand what we need to work on and what positions, what we need people at. And so when we go out there quarterback, we know we need a guy that can throw the ball, or maybe a guy who's a little bit better runner, or offensive lineman. Do we need the guard position? Do we need the tackle position? Secondary, same thing. Do we need a safety that's going to hit? We can move this guy to the corner, things of that nature. So we just self-evaluate positions and what we did this year, and we're going to attack our weaknesses.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes,
Good luck
sir.
this weekend. Look forward to the match.
Thank you.
Goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach Maynor. How are you doing?
Good morning, Charles. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask a quick question in regards to the weather conditions down there in Mobile. Did that affect play calling in terms of the direction that your offense might have been going? Because it seemed as though the wind had an effect on some passes.
No, it was the wind was blowing pretty good from my right to left, and their opposite, left to right. So, no, the only thing it really affected is the kicking game. You know, when you try to attempt a field goal or kickoffs, you know, you can get it all the way in the end zone or out the end zone, and vice versa. And the punts. Now, the first thing I told the guys was on the punts, when they're punting into that wind, we have to be ready for a Peter call to get away from the ball, because it's probably not going to be a good punt, and it can easily hit off of you, and they be able to get the ball. So that was the first alert that I gave our guys. When they're punting into that wind, we have to be ready for that. But play call, it don't really affect the play call. The only thing you want to tell a quarterback in that situation, if the wind is blowing to your back, when you throw those balls out to the sideline, it's going to take it forward a little bit. Whichever way it's blowing, it's going to move it a yard or two. And I saw that happen a couple of times on both quarterbacks. Was trying to throw the ball straight to the sideline, and the wind took it out in front of the guys. So that's it. It don't really change the play calls, though.
Sure thing. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Any final questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M? Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Alabama State. And Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. I do see that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Yeah, we played at home. It was Military Appreciation Day. Hall of Fame game, had some greats like Brad Baxter, Ricky Jones, those guys on campus. So great atmosphere to have a college football game. Unfortunately, we lost 21-14. The game started off with those guys driving down the field. They had a couple, 3rd and 15 conversions. Quarterback Moose did a great job of, stepping up and making the play, finding an open guy. So they took a 7-0 lead. We came back, had a play that we had drawn up that worked for us, tied the game up at 7, went into the halftime 7-7. Both teams playing well, and coming out in the second half, we just couldn't get the field position in our direction. Was backed up on the 1-yard line. Defense did a great job, had a couple of red zone interceptions, but then, you're starting off at your own 1 or 2. So they were able to get a safety on us, try to have a pass play on the 2nd and long, and took a 9-7 lead. Scores kind of went from there, and we were able to block a punt, kind of get us into it. Offense couldn't really get a rhythm in the second half, and, when you're playing against a good defense, that has a lot to do with it. So, those guys played good. Land stepped up, made a couple plays. So their big play guys played well. But once we blocked that punt, Cale Jackson, who also had 2 interceptions, one of our safeties, he also returned that punt for a touchdown. So that gave us a lead. Going to the fourth quarter, they were able to get a score and miss a two-point conversion. So ended up being a 1-score game into the fourth quarter. So we tried to drive it, couldn't get anything going, went for it on 4th down. They had a couple possessions inside our red zone. We were able to stop them on 4th down, which gave us a chance to come back. I think with about 30 seconds and 3 timeouts. Quarterback Miles Crawley was in the game at that point. He was able to drive us down and get us in position to attempt a 51-yard field goal. That was blocked, and they returned it for a touchdown, which made it a 7-point game. So really proud of the guys. Everybody played hard, competed all the way to the last play. So, whenever a game comes down to the last play of the game, then you're in it. Of course, we had mistakes. We could have played better, but when you're playing a good team, they force you to make mistakes. And I thought Coach Simmons had his guys ready to play. They had a really good game plan. We knew that their big guy was Xavier, and tried to stop him, but I think he still had like 12 or 13 catches. So they have a couple guys that'll be playing at the next level. So it was good to see a good SWAC game with a lot of players on both sides of the field that played really well. The big guys played hard on both sides of the ball. So just as a great game, even though we came out of it short, it was still a great game. And so doesn't diminish anything from it. My kids played hard. So now we have to turn back around and get ready for the Turkey Day Classic. We'll play Arkansas Pine Bluff, kind of like a mini bye week. It won't be until Thanksgiving Day. And so we just want to finish up the season on a good note.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Robinson. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Yes, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As you really broke down the game, I had a chance to watch it. Fascinating in terms of just the back and forth, the nature of the game. Defensive struggle is a classic game, a SWAC game, if you would, that you've seen over the many years. With that said, can you talk a little bit about some of your defensive standouts that kept you in this game in various capacities in terms of putting you in a position to potentially get out the victory? It wasn't to be, but those defensive players really made sure that they gave you every opportunity to be in it.
Yeah, offense was struggling. We had a good rhythm in the first half. Second half, offense couldn't really get it going. A lot of it was field position, just backed up, couldn't get the plays off. And we were playing against a good defense. So FAMU has a really good defense. So that was part of it. But defensively, our guys, Bubba Adams, he another 14 or 15 tackle performance from him. Stayed in the backfield, made a lot of good plays. He always is consistent. I think another guy, Ershaw. Ershaw played, he's one of our All-American guys, played a lot of man coverage. They went at him a couple of times in the red zone. He's a smaller guy, but super tough, great technique. So he was able to stand up to the occasion on a couple, one-on-one shots, say your guy against my guys. He did a great job. And then Cale Jackson with the 2 interceptions. So we was able to pick the ball off 3 times. Most of them were in the red zone. It was big plays. So it seems like every time they were about to really take control of the game, we were able to get a big defensive stop. So kudos to those guys. They really played hard. And, of course, Brandon Gaddy, our defensive tackle, he's just probably one of the best in the conference the whole season long.
Follow-up question. Your next game isn't until Turkey Day. So you had an earlier season bye where you evaluate and things of that nature. Obviously, you could rest a little bit, get people healthier, but having this mini bye, as you talked about it, what do you look at in terms of it this time? Is it about more the natural component of wanting to get some players healed just because the physicality of the season, or do you look at some other things in terms of this mini bye?
Well, I think the first thing for us is academics. Like Monday and Tuesday, that was my stress to the guys. Is if you're behind in any subject, make sure you catch up. So that's what we're focusing on first and foremost. As we know, the semesters are ending a little bit earlier, right around Thanksgiving. So we're focusing on that first, and then of course, making sure that everybody gets healthy. So it will be you get a couple of days to kind of really get into it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. Academics first, trying to get everybody healed and healthy, and then get a good game plan for Pine Bluff.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup the following week.
Next question goes to Zach McKinnell.
How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. How's it going?
Not too bad. So you guys are wrapping up your season next week, and you had a new quarterback this year, D. Davis, his first year starting for you guys. Can you talk a little bit about his development throughout the season and what you're expecting from him moving forward at Alabama State?
Yeah, I mean, he got off to a good start in that first Howard game, and then he got hurt against that Miles game. So that when it's a shoulder separation and it's on your throwing shoulder, that sets you back. So, he's played good when he's been in there. He's getting better each week. The Bethune-Cookman game, I felt like he really grew up in that game. Playing against FAMU at home, really good defense. Didn't play as well, but he still showed those signs that he can control and manage the offense. So got a little banged up towards the end of the game, so we had to pull him. But I think he'll be back for next week as a minor fill. But I think his best football is ahead of him. He didn't get a spring. He didn't get here till the summer. So I think just having a spring here and just getting reps and reps and reps, and I think he's a high rep guy. Once he sees it, the more he sees it, then that natural ability to just come out. So he'll be a good one, but he's still working at it. He was still a freshman this year technically, so he's still learning the position.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Time for a few more questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Robinson, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We are a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach McNair's availability. We'll pause just for a few minutes to allow some additional media to join the call, and we'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, we thank everyone for their patience. And once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Happy to be joined by Alcorn State Head coach Fred McNair. Good morning, coach.
Good morning.
Okay, there you go. Good morning, coach. As always, coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune.
It was a great ball game. Thought Coach Simmons did a great job bringing his guys in and playing a heck of a ball game on their behalf. I mean, they were well prepared and the things that we brought to the table. A seesaw battle the first quarter. Second quarter, we managed to score a touchdown. Jarvion Howard, 12-yard run. Come back and get a field goal late in the second quarter. Come out of halftime. They go up, they get a touchdown, make it 10-7. Then they go up 14-10. Late in the fourth quarter, we get a pick six to go up 17-14, and defense came out and played a great ball game for us in terms of what they did. They were relentless. These guys played tough. They fought the whole game. Good competitive ball game. I thought that we competed to the fullest. We strained ourselves in terms of special teams, offense and defense. So great ball game. I thought that Bethune-Cookman came in and played a heck of a ball game. Great coaching, Coach Sims down there, bringing the group in on a trip, dodging the weather down in Florida and just getting here and being able to play a solid football game. It takes coaches to do that kind of stuff, to be able to get here early and get your team prepared to play a full 60-minute ball game. So my hats off to Coach Sims down there and the job he's doing at Bethune-Cookman.
Your first question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach McNair. How are you doing?
All right, do good.
Congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask, there was a huge disparity with regards to run pass in this game. And I wanted to ask with regards to your quarterbacks, do you feel with more game experience, more reps, if you will, that opens it up a little bit more with regards to the passing game? I saw Jarvion had 32 attempts this past game for over 100 yards again, but does it change up how you go about calling the game going up against Jackson State?
No, we're going to do what we've been doing. It don't change anything for us. We just got to take care of what we're supposed to take care of. And if we do that, we'll be fine. I mean, got a young quarterback, high rep guy, got to see a lot in terms of what we do. But it don't change our play calling. Don't change anything to what we got to do in terms of getting prepared for a good ball team in Jackson State. So we just continue to do what we do, take care of Alcorn business, handle ourselves first, and just come out and play a solid football game.
Obviously, a quick follow-up, going to be a raucous environment down there in Norman this weekend. You throw the records out, but just knowing that Jarvion carries such a load with regards to the offense, does it maybe change things up with regards to Jackson State's rush defense, how they're able to have been a tremendous rushing defense this past season? Does it, I guess, put more emphasis in regards to the passing?
No, they rush. We got to block. We got to block them. So it don't change anything. We just gotta take care of up front. We got to block the guys. I mean, it's no different than the other team we've been playing. In terms of that, I thought Bethune-Cookman did a good job against us in the rushing. They did some things that we had to make adjustments to. So as well. So just looking at Jackson on film, they gonna stop the run. Try to anyway. So the things we got to do is to make sure we doing a great job of blocking the guys we need to block to open gaps up. Just in regular the normal game, it's no different.
Sure thing. Appreciate it, Coach.
This question goes to Zach McKinnell.
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
So your front seven's played excellent this season, led by Terrence and some of the other guys. Can you speak to to their development and their performance this year and how important it is going to be to get pressure on Shedeur this weekend? I
mean, the defense has been playing relentless, man. They've been doing a good job. I think Coach Bradley and Coach Rob Robertson doing a great job with the front seven, in terms of what we got to do to get to the quarterback, got to stop the run. We got to stop the pass that he throws. So we just got to put pressure on him, to kind of offset some of the things that he's been doing so well, getting the ball out of his hand quick. So, they got a vertical pass. They'll run it too as well. So we just got to be ready for everything, all phases of it, in terms of stopping the run and stopping the quarterback from passing the ball. So we just got to compete just like we do every week. These guys work very hard through the week to get prepared for a game. So no different than others. Other teams had good throwing quarterbacks, had good running quarterbacks as well. So we just kind of come out and just take care of our business first. Like I said, we just got to work hard through the week and make preparation to play a good, solid football game.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Next question goes.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. Hey, Coach, going into this week, how do you prepare for a guy like Travis Hunter who can attack you on both sides of the ball?
Pretty much just like we prepare every week, man. We just got to be ready to play, he does a lot of things in terms of what he do. Pound for pound, he's a great athlete, so you can't knock that. Great recruit they brought in there, Jackson. So, we just got to prepare like we've been preparing every week. We have guys we have to stop every week. So, in terms of that, so it's no different than preparing for any other. We got to run our routes. We got to cover the guys. It's no different. So, we just got to prepare ourselves to play a 60-minute ball game. As I said, it's no different than any other team we've been playing. Everybody got players. Everybody. This conference has grown to attract great athletes in this conference. So each and every team has gotten better through the course of the year. So, preparing for one guy, we got to prepare for them all. So it's no different.
Thank you, Coach. Coach, I do want to get your thoughts on philosophy about either building through recruiting or building through the transfer portal.
Everybody has their different philosophy of how they recruit players, man. It's about things. It's about stuff. It's about things that you have in terms of recruiting. These young kids coming out these days, they want to see stuff. They want a visual. They want to see what you got. They want to get an understanding of your philosophy in recruiting in terms of what you have here on campus, things of that nature. So recruiting always stay the same format for me. I want the elite high school players to come in and compete. It's always good to get a player out of the transfer portal. It just depends on the character of the young man. So we don't want to bring just anybody into this program. That way, it's better to get an understanding and let these coaches build relationships with these young men as we recruit them to this great university we have here. So we don't just dip and dab throughout the transfer portal, and you find one guy that's not fit for these rooms down here in terms of position. But we got to recruit the best players to come here at Alcorn State University. Also, the players that really want to be here, regardless of the things that they see and the things that they don't see. We don't have the big lights as other places do. We here on a rural area and here in northern Mississippi. And it's not a big attraction, but we have a beautiful campus and we can show them that. We have a great coaching staff and the things that we got here at Alcorn State University. So it's always good to compete in recruiting. So Alcorn State University football program going to continue to recruit the best players we can. We may not get them all, but we're going to recruit as we normally do.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
Last question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach McNair, you're pretty straight in terms of just the football, the ups and downs, the flows, calm demeanor in terms of that nature, and your team oftentimes plays to that, of always trying to find a way to push through. But with that said, is it just getting prepared for the next game, about doing the things that you do well, looking at where maybe you can take advantage of the matchups? Or is there any indication that's saying, hey, we're still in this in terms of divisional races, if some things fall our way? What is your approach in terms of that outside noise that talks about that versus what's true to your football team and your philosophy.
And these players, they listen to one voice, and that's the voice of this coaching staff, and what we instill in these young men is to come out and compete and work hard each and every day to make themselves better in terms of preparing for a football game. In those situations, our guys gonna compete each and every day. So it's no other different than last Saturday and this coming Saturday's coming up. So this week we're gonna prepare these guys to play a good football team coming in. The outside noise, they listen to one voice, and that's the voice of this coaching staff, and they understand that this coaching staff mean more to them than what's on the outside. Just that room that we have, I get them to understand that this is the room that we created. This is the room that best for you, So in terms of that, these young men is gonna compete each and every day, and just gotta find out the things that we can do best, and things that we can get better from, in terms of preparing for this ball game. Trying to explore some of the weaknesses that they have, just looking at film, and just getting a good game plan together to execute and score touchdowns, and get a good game plan for the defense to create turnovers and not let them score. So it's a tough task for us, special team wise. We got to prepare. They got a lot of speed, so we just got to make sure we're doing the right things to put our guys in the best situation to win a ball game.
Thank you, Coach McNair. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this weekend, and thank you again for your candor.
Appreciate you guys.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next, we go to Bethune-Cookman and head coach Terry Sims. I do see that we have Coach with us. Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach Sims, as always, we appreciate you. Take some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Thought it was a good football game. When you look at the course of the game, the flow of the game, I thought the first quarter was back and forth. Good physical football game. Had to fight the weather a little bit. Both teams, I think was affected a little bit by the weather, but not a bad football game. We had 2 turnovers that really cost us at really, really crucial times in the game. We had one where we recovered a fumble, picked it up, and fumbled it back to them. That was the 3rd turnover. So I think when you look at the turnover ratio, we end up losing that by 1, and we end up losing the football game by 3 points. But all in all, did not think it was a bad football game. I think it was the best football game that our defense has played all year. Holding a running back of the caliber of their back to as few yards as we did, not allowing him to just have a field day. I thought it was great. So not disappointed in our guys' effort and trying. Disappointed in a couple of the penalties. We had, I think each team had 6 penalties. 2 of our penalties were personal fouls that really hurt us at key points in the game. But, as you look at the football game as a whole, I thought it was a well-played game, aside from the 3 turnovers and obviously the personal fouls. That's the thing that really hurt us. Got to take your hat off to Alcorn State. Coach McNair and his staff, they had those guys ready to play. They came out and they didn't do anything other than what you saw them do on film. And they do what they do well. He had them prepared. They came out. They never panicked. They just kept the course. And that's what good football teams do. And he has to be proud and pleased with his group because they never quit. I don't think either team quit. I think, when you look at the battle, it was a battle for 4 quarters, and it went down to 5 minutes left in the football game for the deciding pick 6. So again, you have to take your hat off to those guys, and Alcorn State has to know that they have a coach that's doing the right thing, and he's preparing those guys the right way and keep getting them in position to compete week in and week out.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Sims. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Simmons.
Good morning.
Talk about the nature of football in terms of young men as you broke down the game there in terms of that, but all the ups and downs of the season, particularly of what you all, Bethune-Cookman Wildcat, things outside of your control in terms of the hurricane, the challenge associated with still keeping people together to play in a position where you're in a game to even win it over the last couple of games this season.
Well, you know, Doc, you've been knowing me for a while. We're not going to use that as an excuse. It is what it is. We were in position to win the football game. We had to leave here on Wednesday, and we got a chance to, you know, pull up into Jackson. We couldn't fly out. We had to bus to Jackson, where our hotel was, and we got there about 12:30 a.m. And Jackson State and Coach Prime, his staff, they were gracious enough to allow us to practice at their facility. We had our meals over at Jackson State, so definitely a big thank you to them for that. And we had to prepare ourselves to play a football game. It's not, you know, all the challenges you have, you know, in front of you. It's what you do with opportunity. And we had an opportunity to win the football game. We just have to cash in on.
Next up is the big rival, Florida. Another chance to win a football game, but this one, at least to a lot of fans, just a little bit more because of the rivalry nature of it. Talk about what do you want to get done in this football matchup?
Well, I mean, I've been on both sides of this thing, and being here 13 years, I've been here where, you know, both teams have been in the top of the conference. I've been here where we've been down and FAM's been up, and vice versa. You know, they've been up where they are now. We're down. But the Florida Classic is a little bit different, and you can throw the record out the window when you play this football game, because you're talking about two teams who have been battling for years. We pull for each other. We're there for each other every other week of the season, except this one. And it's always a great battle. It's always a great football game. I think two great coaching staffs, you know, two teams full of great athletes, very prepared athletes, very talented athletes. So it's another opportunity for our kids to put themselves on a national stage and showcase their talents.
No doubt. Look forward to the matchup. Thanks, Coach Sam. Good luck. Dude.
Thank you. Thanks.
Next question goes to G. Thomas.
Hey, good morning, Coach Sims. Gerald Thomas from the Tallahassee Democrat.
Tallahassee Democrat? I'm not supposed to be talking to you. No, go ahead.
Of course, Coach, you got the big game this week, the Florida Classic. Like you said, you've been at Bethune-Cookman with 13, 14 years, so you've been through it all. You know, you got to start the Florida Classic, you know, as an assistant coach. You know, you went on a 9-game winning streak against FAMU as a you know, assistant and a head coach. But just tell me a little bit about, you know, just that luster of the Florida Classic, that rivalry, that FAMU versus Bethune-Cookman rivalry, and just, you know, what are you looking forward to come this weekend?
Well, it's an atmosphere, I think, that's unmatched. When you talk about the Florida Classic, when we pull up for pregame, and it's 2 hours early, the streets are full, the parking lots are full, people are tailgating, fans from both universities are out supporting these two football teams. So the atmosphere is unbelievable. And by the time you know, come in for pregame and you get back in the locker room and come back out for the game, the stadium's full. It's a lot of energy, a lot of electricity going in the stadium at that time. And it's something, you know, that I've been to a lot of classics, been involved in a lot of classics. This one is different because it's a homegrown football game. And I'll go on record, I say it every year. The Florida Classic is the only classic that's owned by the two universities. You know, that there is not a promoter involved, and we have sponsors, of course, but the two universities actually own this classic. And that's something that two athletic directors way before my time, way before Coach Simmons' time, they had a vision, and they sat down and came up with it, and it's grown into what we know today as the Florida Classic. And you know, I think it's unmatched.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Sims, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to Florida A&M head coach Willie Simmons. I do see we have. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Coach Simmons, as always, sir, we sincerely appreciate your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Yeah, I did this on my earlier call before I talk about last week's game. Definitely want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Virginia football family, the Virginia University family, University of Virginia family. Tragic what happened there last night. And Tony Elliott's a great friend of mine, played college ball together. So keep things in perspective. You know, we talk about football and about the importance of the game, but, you know, things like this definitely put in perspective how valuable life is and the job we have every day to try to keep these guys out of harm's way and make them successful men. So definitely want to continue to pray for them. But big win last week on the road, another tough win against a good football team. I tip my hat to Coach Robinson, the job that he's done there, turning that program around in a short period of time. Came down to the end. We anticipated a 60-minute ball game, and it was indeed that. Came down to the very last play. We didn't play our best football offensively and special teams. Defense, we played lights out, which we have been for the last few weeks. But again, it was great to get out of there with a tough win. Keeps our winning streak alive, keeps our playoff aspirations alive, and obviously we know this week is as big a week as ever. So looking forward to this week. Florida Classic is, in our opinion, the biggest game out there, and records go out the window, everything out the window with this one because every year it's been a dogfight, and we anticipate the same atmosphere this year.
Appreciate those comments, Coach Simmons. First question goes to Zach McKinney.
How you doing, Coach? Congrats on the win this weekend.
Thank you.
The biggest thing when I went back and watched this game was how the defensive line consistently made big plays. Trey Jones, Isaiah Land, including the blocked field goal at the end. Can you speak about how they stepped up? And it seemed to be all the biggest moments this weekend and really helped you guys pull out a big road victory this weekend.
Yeah, good football teams are built from the inside out, and that's what we've tried to do here. And defensively, we've been able to do that. We play really great defense up front for the last 2 years. You can think about guys like Isaiah Land, Savion Williams, General Hunt, now Trey Jones, Donald Hall, Kamari Stevens. We've really developed a deep core group of guys that understand that being good defensively, great defensively starts with them. And so they take great pride in it. They have an amazing coach. Milton Patterson does a wonderful job of getting those guys in position. It works really well with our defensive coordinator, Ryan Smith, to scheme and game plan guys to take away their best things. And so we definitely got to continue to do that. We're going to face one of our toughest challenges of the year with the true dual threat quarterback in Jalen Jones. They have dynamic playmakers all across the board. And so we're definitely going to have to play assignment football and try to contain one of the best athletes, in our conference.
And a quick follow-up, without looking too far ahead, a report came out yesterday that Florida A&M is getting together to potentially put in a bid to host an FCS playoff game if you guys get invited for the second year in a row. How big would that be in the first round to have a home game in Bragg Stadium? And how does y'all's experience from last year carry over to this year and competing in that first round?
Well, obviously, don't want to sound like coaches speak, but none of that matters if we don't take care of business this weekend. So, we'll address that when the appropriate time comes. But right now, our sole focus is the Florida Classic. We've gone into this game 2 out of our 3 years as the favorites, and we're 1-2. And so we can't get ahead of ourselves and think about anything other than winning this football game and preparing ourselves mentally and physically to go and play our best football. So, we do that, then obviously we'll have the playoff discussions on Sunday if indeed we're invited. But we know that that's probably out the window if we don't take care of business this weekend.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Just want to say before we get into the serious business, your shirt game, your pullover game continues to be much like the way you coach your program.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. Well, just for you.
No, that I think you did. You know how I am. And I did an academic conference, so it fits in with what I was trying to present. So I'm really feeling it. With that being said, more importantly, wanted to get to some of the key players in that game. Something just about Xavier Smith. We all understand his accolades, what he comes to the table for. But the fact that people know in terms of your opponents, but they just can't find a way to stop him. He put up 145 yards on 13 receptions, 11.2, as you know, in terms of getting in the end zone as well. Can you break down a little more in terms of what we may not be able to realize about what makes him more special than just all the things we've heard and know his accolades?
Well, one thing about Xavier is he's such a smart and savvy football player that we're able to use him in a myriad of ways, right? We try to line him up all over the field to prevent teams from just being able to say, okay, we can double 19. Because he plays inside and outside, it makes it really difficult to try to put two guys on him because it may throw off the structure of your defense coverage-wise. So because he's so versatile and because he knows our offense so well that we can put him anywhere, that makes him dangerous. You know, he has great speed, so when he's outside, he can run by guys. He's very shifty, so when he's in the slot, he can win those matchups against linebackers, nickelbacks, and safeties. And he's tough as nails, you know. So when you throw him a bubble screen, you know, he turns into a running back. He was a high school running back, and so he just brings a unique skill set to the position. And we try to utilize him in as many ways as possible. And again, I didn't even know he had 13 catches till after the game, but he's such an unselfish player. He never talks about catches or touches. He just goes and plays the game. So he'll be a vital part of this game. Last year, he kind of broke it open on that touchdown reception after they scored and got us back to a 7-7 game or 7-6 game. But just his big playmaking ability has been on display for the last 4 years. And this is our last regular season game with him, and we're going to hopefully send him out the right way.
What's the nature of a rivalry game that just makes it a little more challenging than normal matchups where the teams win, lose? Over the years, your experience, what is it about it that we may not quite understand that just makes rivalry games tough?
Well, I think in-state rivalries are, kind of more so what we're talking about, and the fact that there's so many ties, right? A lot of these guys played high school ball together. A lot of us as coaches know each other really well. Yeah. There's a great friend of mine. And so again, it's a game where it's kind of like high school, so to speak. Everybody's kind of playing against a guy that you know really well, right? And so I think that lends to it. My families are tied. A lot of families, the spouses of one went to Bethune, one went to FAM, church members, co-workers, you name it. Like this state, there's two prominent HBCUs in this state. There are 4 total, but there are 2 prominent ones, and that's FAMU and Bethune. So, we're responsible for really transforming the Black middle class in this state, right? These 2 institutions. And so much of what we do, we're so tied together. And so when we come together on the field of competition, I mean, it's as big a rivalry as anybody because you're talking about bragging rights, sometimes even in your own home, right? And so that's what makes this game what it is. And regardless of records, regardless of what anybody is in the season, this is always going to be, one of the biggest games of either of our seasons, the biggest game of our seasons. And both sides understand that.
Thank you, Coach Simmons. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Morning, Coach Simmons. How you doing?
Boy, they win the East, boy. There you go. Ask some questions again. Boy, I tell you. Good to see you, Charles. Good to see you. Congratulations.
Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the environment down there in Montgomery, old SIC rivalry with regards to Alabama State, but looked like Rattler Nation was down there in droves. But I just want to ask about this budding rivalry and how the SWAC East is shaping up for years to come.
Man, I tell you what, man, we knew it going into it, that it was going to be a tough division. And this rivalry is one that's picking up steam. We're the closest 2 teams. Well, they're the closest team to us in proximity, even closer than, our in-state rival. And so it's been a rivalry when they were members of the SIAC, and it's turned into another rivalry as we speak. 2 really good football teams, and Rattler Nation showed up. And I expect when they return the favor and come to Bragg next year, Hornet Nation will show up in strong numbers. So excited about the future of this rivalry because it is indeed one between 2 really great programs. And it's going to continue to raise the profile of our division and our conference overall.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you, Charles.
Next question goes to Jeff Lightsey.
Hey, Coach Simmons. How's it going? Jeff Lightsey Jr.
Hey, Jeff.
So, Coach Simmons, we saw this week that Isaiah Lang got an invite to the Senior Bowl. Just what does that mean for your program, and what do you think that means for the SWAC overall to have a player get invited to that Senior Bowl prestigious All-Star game?
Well, he's not alone. I saw Aubrey Miller got an invite as well. And so, again, it just continues to speak to the level of talent in this conference. Isaiah Lang's a phenomenal player. He's got 2 major All-Star game invites now. and he'll have his pick. But again, he's a great player, but we also have great players throughout this conference. This game weekend is going to show a lot of star power. So just excited about the direction of the conference, the coaches, the players, the communication departments. The SWAC is definitely on a meteoric rise, and it's never been a better time to be a part of it.
And last question, just a quick follow-up. Just your team hadn't lost essentially since week 2. Just what have you guys been able to do week in and week out just to continue to grind out and continue this winning streak?
I'll just keep the main thing, stay true to our core values and who we are. And we do that. We feel everything else to take care of itself. So, we try not to look at what happened yesterday, what's going to happen in the future. We're going to be where our feet are and just try to win today. And if we go 1-0 today, we got a chance to go 1-0 this weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we go to Grambling State. Head coach Hugh Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach Jackson, as always, we sincerely appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing there versus Texas Southern.
Well, I thought we didn't play our best football. I think our team, our staff, we're all disappointed that we didn't put our best foot forward. We've made so much progress over the last really 5 weeks. We think we took a little step back, didn't play as well. But we think Texas Southern had a lot to do with that. We give all the credit to them. We need to continue to grind and get better and get refocused and get ready for the Bayou Classic.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Jackson. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta with Dr. Ville's Inside the Sports Lab. As you said, you'd come into the game playing pretty well with both teams actually playing pretty well, but you weren't able to do as well as you would probably have liked coming to the game. What do you think were some of the issues that didn't allow you to play as well as you had been playing the last couple of weeks?
Well, I thought, when we watched the tape, we just felt like we didn't execute as well, offensively or defensively. We did some things in special teams to kind of keep us in the game, but at the same time, that wasn't the way we have been playing over the last several weeks. And like I said, I give all the credit to Texas Southern. They played well enough to beat us. But when you turn the ball over, you don't convert third downs, you don't stop the other team, you're not going to have a very good night.
You have essentially an off week before you get into the Bayou Classic. This will be your second off week of the season. What is the difference between this off week versus the previous off week in terms of preparing for the matchup?
Well, I don't, it's the last game of the year. So we're going to do everything we can to maximize the opportunities we have to have these extra practices to get ready for Southern. So I think last time we got ready to have an offseason was really about our self-scout, what we have been doing. I think now it's more about making sure that we're extremely healthy, extremely focused, and making sure that we have great practices over the next several practices.
Thank you, Coach Jackson. Look forward to the following week matchup.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jeff Lightsey Jr.
Hey, Coach Jackson, Jeff Lightsey Jr. here. How is it going?
Good.
Now, Coach, you talked about you got the Bayou Classic coming up. Just what does that mean for you to be able to participate in a game like this? It'll be your first one as the head coach of Grambling. So what do you think that'll mean for you and your team going into this next matchup?
It means a chance to finish the season the right way. We know it's bragging rights within the state, that school's very close in proximity to Grambling. So it's been one of the biggest games in the history of the HBCUs. So for me to represent, I'm excited to be able to do that. My staff is as well. Our players are anxious to get back up on the field and play better than we did last week.
Just a quick follow-up, Coach Jackson. Just you had a young team all year. Where have you seen growth and development from, whether it's your freshman quarterback, your freshman defensive players, running backs, all that stuff? Where have you seen the growth between the first week of the season up until now?
No, I think they've competed their tails off, those young players you just mentioned. I think they've gotten better. But I think we all know at some point in time, these young players hit a wall. We try to push them over the wall at this point in time. We got quite a few of these guys that are playing major minutes, major positions, big quarterback, be it at corner, be it at offensive line, all those particular places. And you said it, we are young, but at the same time, we expect those guys to be able to shoulder the load right now and push through it to give us the best opportunity to play, to win, I should say.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with James Hill Sports. I hope you and everybody in Grambling are well. Can you talk a little bit about Grambling State University football from the inside out, what you've been able to see this season so far?
What I've been able to see so far this season is exactly where we need to grow this program. I think the first recruiting class was a good class. I think we need to go out and go add more talent. As we move forward, I think we need to go and do everything we can to rebuild the brand to back to where it should be. And I think we're just the people to do it. We feel good about where we're headed. We feel good about the recruiting process that we have up to this time. Now we need to go finish it with another strong class and put this talent together and get this program back to where it should be.
Coach, the Bayou Classic, it's been a crown jewel, if you will, in the Black experience in terms of HBCU football. Talk about going into the Dome, being a part of that legacy from Cassim to Coach Rob and everybody that's been a part of it, Doug, all the guys. But you have a G on your chest and you'll take your team in there. Talk a little bit about it.
Oh, you just mean some of the greatest coaches, the greatest coach that's ever coached in the HBCU space. Is Eddie G. Robinson. And so to be able to be the leader of this program in that game means the world to me. Obviously, those guys have done a great job in that game. They've won.
Hey, Q. Hey, big dog.
Hello?
Coach, I'm here.
Sorry about that, Coach. We had some feedback there. I apologize.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought somebody was asking another question. No, I mean, to me, it's just going to be an unbelievable experience. And what you want to do in those games is go win it. And that's truly what it's all about. That's our focus. That's what we're going to do everything we can to make happen next week.
Thank you, sir. Have a great bye week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Talk about the offseason for Grambling and where you are going to take the program. You spoke about recruiting. What else does the offseason for the Grambling Tigers look like?
I think it's a reboot of everything. I think now that I know I've been in it, I've seen the conference firsthand. I know who the really good teams are. I know that there's some unbelievable coaches in this conference and some unbelievable teams. So I have a better understanding of exactly what we need to do. And so you have to put your plan in place. And so we're going to do that, as an athletic department, as a football staff and football team. And we're going to set out to make that happen. And I think there's a reboot of facilities. I think there's a reboot of players. I think there's a reboot of our weight room, just everything. I think we need to go push above and beyond where we've been so that we can get back to where we truly want to be.
And lastly, this Bayou Classic, the intensity of it and the relationship. Someone spoke earlier about the G being restored. I know amongst your coaching staff, you have guys that proudly wore that S on their chest in college. So talk about how connected the two universities are and the meaning of this game.
Oh, they're well connected. I mean, whether you go into a store, whether you go into a gas station, either somebody went to Grambling or somebody went to Southern. And so they're very connected. We respect that. We respect their program. I'm sure they respect ours. We understand that this is a huge game. I have some guys on my staff who graduated from Southern, been a part of that, understand exactly where it is, what it is. And so we got to do a great job of making it and staying in the moment and being able to rise up for this game and play our best football, because there's no question this game will mean a lot to both sides.
Thank you, Coach.
Sure.
Coach Jackson, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Next up, we go to Arkansas Pine Bluff, head coach Don Treadwell. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning to you, man.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please Start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Sure. One thing as coaches, I think it's always interesting when we evaluate an opponent on tape and then we play them to see how we stack up. And after engaging Prairie View, on Saturday, I felt we could clearly see, and they demonstrated very well their high level of talent. And I think that certainly is one of the reasons they sit on the top of the Western Division in the SWAC. I'll say, for us, our challenges here at UAPB football, as a team, are really off-season fixes. Not a Band-Aid, short-term mirage. Often, as an interim football coach, you and the staff are working daily, what I call on limited borrowed time, whereas the next appointed head football coach will be granted quality time to pursue his vision for the team. Philosophically, I believe at the end of the day, when you seek to build something that will last, your team must be taught how to walk before they run. Questions?
First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's HBCU Sports Lab, inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Sure.
When you talk about learning to walk before you run, in terms of the philosophical framework, your team was able to jump out there and get the lead. But as you talk about, Prairie View was able to come back and kind of stretch the lead out. Talk about the players that were able to do some good things for you in that matchup.
Well, you alluded to a little bit of it there. It was nice to see our offense get on track a little bit early in the game. And again, that's kind of been a building process, if you will. It's not, something uniquely new. We just started. We kind of have put our season, I think, as I mentioned to you guys 4 weeks ago, into a 4-game schedule. So we've slowly tried to increment, a few things here and there that might have been a little different than what we've done in the past, but not to the point that would overwhelm the kids, so they could still have an opportunity, if you will, to function within the framework of the system and execute. And I think when you watch the tape, you see guys executing at a better level as we moved in the early phases of the game, offensively speaking.
Talk with Coach Alabama State in terms of the fact that this is maybe a little bit of a mini bye week because you play on that Thursday versus the following Saturday. Can you talk about how you prepare going into that next week? And does any of the extra time, if you would, does that help? Even though a lot of the things that this program probably needs is really, as you said, something that has to be taken care of in the off season versus this season. Can you talk about that matchup in the following week on Thursday and Thanksgiving in Montgomery, Alabama?
I think for coaches, we typically never feel we have enough time in a funny way. That's just how we are. So right. Yes, for us, having a couple extra days is a bonus, if nothing else for our own mind's sake, that we really get an opportunity to, delve into the next opponent, Alabama State, and take a really good look at them, where typically if you were playing this Saturday, there'd be a lot of things already on the plate, if you will, to have to start sorting out, what we might want to do here or there. But when you have a couple extra days to do that, you don't have to put a game plan together on Monday. It gives us a little bit more time, as we said, to really sit back and reflect a little bit on, okay, where are we at? And then, the next opponent, how do we match up with what we're trying to do against them? So it helps us. And to be honest, I think it helps the kids a little bit too, because, they'll have a day or two off and give them a chance to continue to rebound both physically and mentally.
Thank you, Coach Treadwell. I look forward to the Thanksgiving matchup. Excuse me.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's James Hill with James Hill Sports. You have some gentlemen there, Mr. Britton, Mr. Perry. Talk a little bit about the defensive side. We know the offense is tremendous, but just talk a little bit about your defensive side of the football.
I got to be honest, as I've always been, I'm limited when it comes to that, because I have really tried to keep my focus, number one, in the job that I was hired to do. That's work within the framework of the offense. And then number two, now you throw the entire team on your plate. So I've really kind of have spread myself thin in a positive way in that regard, but I haven't overly stepped on any of the toes on defense. They kind of, like us, they have their philosophy. They keep me abreast of what's going on, but I would be remiss, and there would be too much I would leave out if I tried to actually talk about the differences and the things or the player personnel and all of that, it would be better for a defensive individual to share that with you. So I have to pause on that one, if you will.
Definitely, Coach. When you think about taking over the Golden Lions and being the captain of the ship, so to speak, what's it been like for you so far as you move forward and get ready for this game on Thanksgiving?
Well, I think I alluded to that a little bit early when we talked in my opening statements there. I think as an interim program, you're always working against the clock, if you will. That's probably another way to say it. And so the ability to focus, which is where it has to start, has to come from myself and then the staff. And I think we've done a good job in that. And the point being, we haven't been received, if you will, as the substitute teacher. When a change is made, sometimes, as you guys know, and back in the school days, when the substitute teacher came in, you just never know what you were going to get. But I think we set the tone early when the change did occur. And I think because of the mutual respect that we have for our players and they have for us as a staff, we've been able to navigate through this challenging time.
Thank you, sir. Have a great off week and good luck on Turkey Day.
All right. Likewise.
Question goes to Kyle Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Great.
Well, Mark Evans and the rest of the seniors are about to wrap up their careers with the Golden Lions. Can you talk a little bit about those guys and what they meant to the program?
I heard a little bit. Did you say about the seniors?
Yes, Mark Evans and the rest of the seniors.
And the rest of the seniors, yeah. Well, certainly last week was a little bit special. In particular, it was our last home game here. And so we tried to make it a little bit special for them throughout the week and, just stay connected with them and remind them of how special they are and how special a university they are connected to. And I think they feel that. And it's just been a privilege, if you will, to work with those young men. And I believe that we'll continue, which we have for 3 weeks now of 3 games, get tremendous senior leadership. I mean, for what the young men have worked through in the 3 games that we've played since the change has been made, boy, my hat is really off to them. And be honest, it probably has brought us, just because of our appreciation of those seniors, closer as a staff and players, just because you have to have that component. It can't just be a coach-driven scenario. You have to have leadership for the team to keep moving forward, despite, the potential distractions. So again, you alluded to Mark Evans, he's one of the captains. Noah Hayes is one of the captains. Skylar Perry, one of the captains, and Isaac Peppers. Those 4 young men, in my opinion, have really stepped up to the plate. We brought them in. I talked with them right back when the change occurred and, really wanted to create for them a sense of ownership within the program. And man, let me tell you, they have done that with flying colors. So I expect them to come out on their last game and continue to give a great effort and represent our fine university.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck against Alabama State.
You bet. Have a good one yourself.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Anytime there's a coaching change and an interim coach is named, he has opportunity to evaluate the roster from a different set of eyes. And in your perspective, you're also being evaluated, I would imagine, by the university, whether or not you and your staff will be kept aboard moving forward. How do you prepare, and what's the mentality knowing that going into it?
Oh, you just stay consistent. Again, I've been on different staffs, throughout my career. And the best lessons I've learned is stay in the moment. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't worry too much about the past. You can't do much on either of those. But if you stay in the moment with your young men and keep them in the moment, then it's a manageable situation. And, at this point, like I said, we don't get too far ahead of ourselves one way or the other. We just try to stay connected with our young men, keep them working hard throughout the week, and then hoping that they will put their best performance and their best foot forward on game day.
As a quick follow-up, just looking at your resume, you've been in this particular role before as an interim coach. How much would it mean for you to stick somewhere long-term after one of these experiences?
I haven't gotten too far with that, to be honest, because let me just tell you, my plate is so full. As we said, working through the borrowed time that you have as an interim coach, that I've just been really embracing the moment, with these young men, because that's why we do it. At the end of the day, you do it because you love the sport, of course, but then you love the young men that we have the privilege of working for. And we've got some quality young men here at UAPB.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Coach Treadwell, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you. Next, we go to Mississippi Valley State and head coach Vincent Dancy. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
I thought we played a great Southern team, a good Southern team, high-powered offense that I knew we would have to prepare for. They played two quarterbacks, and we kind of figured that may occur, being that the starter, was kind of banged up from last game. So defensively, I thought we played okay. We didn't play our best early on. I thought we got after the quarterback real good. I thought we had, I think, about 11 tackles for loss. That was impressive defensively. Offensively, I thought we moved the ball up and down the field, but despite a few sacks and turnovers in their territory, once we got there, they kind of stopped us. But overall, I thought we played a physical brand of ball. They just came out on top. They made a few more plays than we did, and they came out with the victory.
Those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is out of Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Offensively, quarterback, Easton back. Obviously, that first drive, you able to move the ball and come up with the tough fumble. Looks like it was going to be returned for a touchdown. You got maybe a burn on that side of it, but even with that said, you were able to rush total yards, 95 yards. So talk about the combination of offense, what you thought you were could able to get done in that game that couldn't quite come to fruition.
Like I said, I thought we was able to move the ball up and down the field. Just when we got into our territory, when we got into their territory, man, we just if it wasn't for sacks and a few fumble, interception thrown, we, like I said, we did a good job with moving the ball. We just turned the ball over once we got into territory, and that kind of hurt us. That cost us points, but it also cost us to lose momentum. And playing a good football team, you can't turn the ball over. That's one thing you cannot do, is turn the ball over. And I thought that kind of hurt us. I think we like you said, a fumble and the interception, I thought that was big, because we could have that could have led to points, whether field goal or a touchdown. So we just got to continue to work, man, and finish this season out strong and end it on a positive note for these seniors that's been a part of this program and set this program that has helped transition this program into a decent football team, a decent program.
Follow-up questions about next week's game, last game at home for the seniors going out. Obviously, last year they were able to go on the road and get a victory against Prairie. This time you get Prairie coming in. Different type of team. Last year they seemed to want to pass a little more. This year they tend to be running. But in this last game against Pine Bluff, Connell actually threw for 5 touchdowns. Not a lot of attempts, but very efficient on attempts. With the type of style of defense you want to play against them, does any of that change based on the way they try to play offensively, or you still going to seek to be attacking defense?
At the end of the day, I think, like I tell my guys all the time, it's not a lot about what they do. It's about what we do. We can go out and execute like we know we can execute, continue to play the brand of football that we know how to play, and that's physical football. Then we'll put ourselves in a better situation to win the game. They got an outstanding quarterback who can run and throw the ball. I think he's a great, a phenomenal runner. But like you said, he can pass the football. So we gotta focus more on, like I say, stopping the run, but making them throw the ball and putting ourselves in position that we can defend the pass.
but also letting our pass rushers get after the quarterback like they did this week. You know, we had a lot of tackles for loss, man. We just gave up a big play here and there at the wrong time. So I'm high on our guys, man. I'm hard on them, and I know we'll go out and like I say, send these seniors out the right way, playing them at home, last game at home, and I know our guys will be amped to finish this season out strong.
Thank you, Coach Dancy. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Dancy, I hope you and everybody back in the Delta are well. Just talk a little bit about your program and moving it to the next level and continuing to restore the glory, if you will, with Delta Devils football.
Oh man, I think it's time to you know, at this point, I think it's time to build a program. I tell people all the time, it's easy to go and put a team out on the field week in and week out, but what you want to do at a university is build a program. A program lasts forever. You know, a team, you just putting them on the field week in and week out, and I think it starts. It's a lot of areas where we have to get better in when it comes to building this program. You know, strength and conditioning is one, and also just putting together a full roster of players that when one guy goes down, you got another guy behind him that's just as talented as he is. So when you're talking about a program, man, you're talking about building it from the top, from the top down. And again, it starts at the top. And we want to build a program here, and we want a program that will last. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of resources that goes into it, and you got to be ready to, you know, fund those resources into the program in order for it to be a lasting program, and in order for it to be a winning program. So it's a lot of elements to it, but you know, I'm willing to get it done.
Coach, talk a little bit about those quality student athletes. They play hard, guys are competitive, and they do want to get better every Saturday.
I think that's the key with these guys, man. For the longest, you know, since I've taken over as the head coach, one thing about these young men, man, we don't quit. You know, it doesn't matter about the record. The record's out the window. We go out every day. We practice hard. We practice hard against each other, and we prepare for the opponent that's coming in on Saturday. And I commend these guys all the time about, you know, their work ethic. If you continue to do things the right way, something good will pay off. Yeah, it may not pay off like we want it, but just continue to work hard at your craft. And at the end of the day, we just let the chips fall where they may. But I'm proud of these guys by the way they compete. They compete against anybody. It doesn't matter the team on Saturdays. It doesn't matter who we play. These guys just go out and play hard, and I can't be more thankful to have this group of young men who prepare themselves the right way and go out and play the way they play week in and week out.
Coach, talk a little bit about your thoughts on Prairie View. They're well coached, they have good players, and they play hard. Just talk a little bit about what you see from the Panthers.
Very explosive team. They can score. They can score. You have to, like I say, you have to put yourselves in the right position in order to stop this team. They're a well-coached team. You can see it. You can see it in their play, but you know they don't quit. And in any minute they can light up the scoreboard on you. So you just got to go out and play them the right way. Be a physical team. Play them hard. And don't make and limit the mistakes that you make and try to create turnovers. I think when we create turnovers, then that put us in gives us a better chance of winning the game. And that's what we didn't do this week. We didn't create enough turnovers. And I think offensively we can't turn the ball over. I think we're moving the ball well. We just, you know, turn the ball over at the wrong time. So it's gonna be a good game, man. I'm excited to see these guys play their last game here at home. And I know that they'll go out and play hard for us. So it's going to be a good, exciting game. I can see it.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, you know, in a game like this where obviously, you know, you got seniors who are playing their last game. You got Prairie View coming in with a lot riding on this game. What do you talk to your team about in terms of preparation and how to approach this game?
Just finishing it the right way. I talk about that all the time, man. I want to send these guys out. A lot of these guys been a part of this program for 3 years. And And I think this program has transitioned in the last 3 years. The wins doesn't speak for it, but the way we play speaks a lot. So I just want to send these guys out the right way. It's not a lot about what Prairie View, what they have to do in order to make it to the championship, but it's all about what we do and how we go out on this final game. We understand what's at stake for them, but we also understand what's at stake for us as well, and that's winning this last football game and going into the off season on a good note with a good taste in our mouth. And so that's how we're going to approach it and play a good game on Saturday.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach Dancy, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Prairie View A&M University head coach, Bubba McDowell. Let's see, we have this. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, I think we came out, first of all, I just want to say I'm proud of these young men, again, just coming out, long road trip, staying focused, and again, going out and playing a good football game, doing what they, was taught to do throughout the entire week. We went up there, again, played against a good football team, no doubt, and I'd say that, not likely, because, again, those guys, again, on any given day, teams are good until they're not, and we went out there, they hit us in the mouth early with 10 points, and again, as I always tell my guys, we gotta be able to handle the adversities. There's always going to be some ups and downs during the course of the game, and how well we handle it as a group, going to dictate what the outcome of the game is. And again, we went out there, we regroup and they came back, and we played some good football down the stretch. The block punt, we got to work on some things, of course, to help, to minimize scoring and minimize mistakes, special team wise. But overall, again, just really proud of the guys, how they bounced back, and finished the game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You talk about getting down early in your team, being able to push through that and come back on the other side really strong in terms of answering the question, particularly in that second quarter, rebounding with 21 points, and then even coming out of the second half in terms of the third quarter, putting up 20, scoring 6 touchdowns in that period. You were able to rush the ball for 281 yards, but I want to talk about Connell, whose efficiency was really off the chart. In terms of just 8 pass attempts, he threw 5 touchdowns. Was that a schematic of the game? Obviously, you want to be able to continue to rush the ball, but did you see some things, or at least your coordinator, in regards to different plays where you said, all right, we're going to take it, attempt to get to the end zone, or was this just a factor of throwing the ball and then your receivers making plays after that to get in the end zone?
A little bit of both. I mean, again, we come into the game again, wanting to establish running game and a passing game. Of course, one is going to help the other if you're successful at it. If you're running the ball, then they, stack the box, then you throw the ball, and vice versa. If you're throwing the ball really well and then they drop an 8, you should be able to run the ball. But yeah, he played a heck of a game. I love the way he just, continued to be poised about everything, and just he takes it for what it is, and again, not trying to do too much and just doing what he do best, and we talked about that all the time. Just, take what they give you, and let the rest take care of itself, and he played a heck of a game, man. And we only can just look forward to him getting better each time we get out there, week by week, and get better. Shoot, he's that dude, man. And again, he's if he continues to just do what he do, I think we can do some good things, man. But like I say, it's just a matter of these guys. We can coach it as coaches, but I always tell them, dude, you guys are out there playing the game. You guys know what to do. Go execute it. And it's not like you're not athletic enough to do it, talented enough to do it. You just got to go out there and want to do it and do it the best you'll be able. And that's what they did this weekend. You know, they took advantage of, you know, situations. Wide receivers played really well. They caught the ball, you know, and when they do that, when we do that as a group, you know, we're pretty darn good.
I like that. I can appreciate that, dude. I got to remember that, Coach. Follow up next week with Mississippi Valley State. Obviously, Prairie View has a lot on the line. There's no secret about that. And players understand that. Do you speak openly about it, or do you focus on the team, particularly with the backdrop that this team came into Prairie View in terms of your house, beat you last year to close out the season. So you don't have to worry about them focusing on the record because of that, or is that a different framework of how you go about this next matchup?
No, they aware what's at stake, and I make sure they know what's at stake. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, we know going into Valley. I mean, we know Dan's gonna have them guys ready to go, man. Again, you know, a lot of seniors at last home game, and you know they're gonna put forth the effort. We know that they did the exact same thing when they came here. I mean, they put it to us, man, and I don't expect anything less. You know, especially you know, with the way he coaches, man. Like I say, he gets those guys going, and you know, and we got to do the same on this end. And then if we go out and again just play football the way we know how and execute it the way that we know how, and I think we'll be okay. You know, but again, they're out there playing the football game, and they got to execute it and get it done. You know, in all phases, special team, offense, and defense.
Thank you, Coach Mike. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this weekend.
Stop.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the fellas are well. You guys are playing well, 6-4, 5-2. You control your own destiny. Just talk about building winners, building champions, and continuing to grind, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. You know, we in a space right now. Great opportunity to establish something really, really good, going back to back. And again, I know, you know, a lot of people say, yeah, you know, don't speak on it. But again, our players need to know that. I mean, they need to know and what they've done from the beginning of the year to where we're at right now. And yes, we had some help, and thank God. But we are in a position right now to you know, to do some good things, and they got to understand that they got to go out and make it happen. Again, just by hearing it, you know, again, they got the opportunity to do it, and they got to go out, execute, do what they need to do, how to do it, what they taught to do, you know, and play good, play against a good football team. And if they do that, JH, you know, we should be okay again. And we know it's going to be physical. We know Coach Dan's going to have some things ready for us, and you know, and well as he should. I mean, they're a good football team at the end of the day, and we just got to go out and execute the way we know how.
Coach, the one game at a time mentality. You'll go in the valley, Highway 82, take that turn, go in there to Rice Totten. Just talk about the focus level and what you guys need to do to go in and do what you need to do.
Yeah,
and want to do.
Yeah, we definitely want to come out victorious. We want to come out and win this game. But again, they got to understand it all starts this week in practice, you know, focusing on the things that we need to correct from last week, and understanding that, you know, we got to go into this game and make less mistakes. I've always said throughout the course of the year, the team that makes the less mistakes is the team that's more physical, team that gets it going offensively, defensively, and special teams. The team's going to win the game, you know. So these guys knowing that going into Valley, you know, they got to prepare themselves this week to go and play against a good football team.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, T.
Hey, I know, you know, the mission is far from complete, but what does it feel like, though, to have this team back here at this point in this position again for the second straight year? I mean, and knowing that, you know, I mean, you went through a lot of changes over the offseason. So what is it like, you know, to be back here and be in this position?
It feels really good, man. It really does. And again, you guys don't know it. A lot of fans don't know it, but these guys have been really resilient, man, from the start of August, man, training camp to some of the things that we've been going through. And they hung in there, man, as a team, and they continue to go out there each week, each day, prepare themselves and get ready to play against football teams, which again, at least back to where we are right now. I mean, we're in a good position, and they got to understand that, the opportunity doesn't come often. They got to take advantage of the opportunities, and if they do that, we're going to be okay. But the opportunities, again, you got to take every opportunity, on the field come Saturday. Week after week, again, I would say you're good until you're not, and special teams, offense, defense, you all got to get it done. It has to be one unit out there performing at their very, very best in order to be a good football team week to week. And, they understand that. They know what's at stake. And they come together again as a group, as a team, and I think that is definitely what's keeping them going strong right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach McDowell, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we go to Southern University head coach Eric Dooley. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, we had an opportunity, and we knew it was going to be a tough football game with the likes of Mississippi Valley, because we know the style of play that they played. But, it was a cold day. I will say that, not a cold-natured guy, but the guys, it was a senior day. The guys came out, the fans showed up for it, and it was a good fought battle. Fortunate enough, we came out on top for our seniors to send those guys out the right way and had a good fight. So, everybody came out healthy. Of course, Coach Dancy going to have his team ready to play, but our guys responded and played well.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and all the Jags are well. Talk about Glendon McDaniel, Bichon, and even Harold got a few snaps.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that we thought it was only fitting. You talk about a senior quarterback to get an opportunity to play his last home game and play rather well after not, getting a lot of playing time, and to come in and respond like that. This shows the character of the young man and his coach that's working with him, that you always got to be prepared, because everybody's one player away from playing. But stepped up and made some plays. Of course, we know Bluff will come in. He's been getting a little playing time throughout the season. So just a credit to the coach, how he prepares those guys.
Coach, you returned back home to Mumford. Now you're here. You've been here this season, and now you're getting ready to get your team ready for the Bayou Classic. Talk a little bit about what that looks like, and it's always a beautiful thing to be back in the Dome.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that when you talk about that game right there, we know the magnitude of that game. I mean, it's a big football game. There's no question about it. There's no secret about it. In my opinion, I was told a long time ago, all roads will be leading to New Orleans. So we do understand the magnitude of that game, and we're looking forward to it. Right now, we, thankful enough, we got an opportunity to have a week off. Everybody, each team always have that bye week before the Bayou Classic. So we have a chance to get some guys back. I won't say get them back from being injured, but just to get them a little closer to 100% of being healthy, because at this point in time, no one is 100% healthy. But just to continue to let those guys close in on this game right here, also taking care of the academic side of it as we come to a closure of this semester.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week, and good luck in the Classic.
You too. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Doctors inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Want to talk about your offensive side of the ball, your receiving core. You talked about the multiple quarterbacks that played in there, but a lot of your receivers got their hands on the ball depth in the depth chart. Talk about them being able to put up 240 yards among all those receivers getting their hands on the ball.
I think that's the beauty of it right there. You kind of want a collective group. It's so easy to get that one standout wide receiver, and then you you do so many things to stop that guy. You can bracket that guy, you can double that guy, do a lot of different things. But I think when you spread the ball around, it helps out tremendously. And those guys understand that, you know, when you can just be as happy when the next guy is having a great day as if it was your day. So we just want to continue in that fashion right there. We're still trying to find our niche with the wideouts. That's going to always be a work in progress. Me being a former wideout, I'm going to always try to get that position to escalate as so all the positions on the team.
Follow-up question is about this week. Obviously, the Bayou class is in 2 weeks, which means that you have a week off. You had a week off earlier in the season, and now you have this additional week off. Can you talk about the difference between how you the 2 weeks and the fact that a couple of games will be played this weekend that will determine even more so the importance of the Bayou class?
Well, you know, I'm always full steam ahead. I believe in I always use the acronym WIN, and that's what's important now. What's important right now that we get better as a football team. We get better in the classroom. We get better just as a whole. Each opportunity we get a chance to go out there, and let's not. We know the importance of this week here, and I'll be. I don't know what I can call myself if I say I wouldn't be watching. Of course, I'm gonna be watching. It holds a lot to it right there. So, you know, but at the end of the day, we just got to do our part. We just got to stay focused on what's important to us right now, and that's getting prepared for, which is, we know down in Louisiana, a huge football game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniel.
Preparation of the week.
Good morning, Coach. Recently, Jatari Carter was named to the Senior Bowl. Can you talk about that young man's play and his impact on your program and what his invite to play in the Senior Bowl does for your program?
I wish Jatari Carter was here. He's not here. He's already in the NFL.
Oh, my bad. I forgive me.
He played last year, but you can send him back.
Thank you, Coach. My bad. Talk about the upcoming classic. You've been on both sides of this game, and just kind of talk about the preparation for it and the dynamic from being on both sides of this game.
Well, I can say that I was truly blessed, you know, to be among living legends and legends, guys that really, you know, was the forefront of this conference, just HBCU football altogether, and having the opportunity to play under the likes of Eddie Robinson. I mean, that's an honor for me, and then have the opportunity to come back and coach with a living legend right now, Pete Richardson. So, I mean, I've been blessed. I can say that right there to understand that, but you know, all that doesn't matter. Only thing gonna matter is this year's game right here. And we just got to take it as it comes. We're going to always work hard. We understand what's at stake, what we need to do, and how we need to go about getting it done. So we're just going to remain focused and understand what's important now for us. That's to prepare this week here. And then next week, get ready for a huge contest.
Thank you, Coach. And if I see Jatari, I'll send him your way.
Last question goes to Ernest Ricks.
Hey, Coach, Ernest Ricks, MTMV Sports. Coach, I just want to ask, as you prepare for this next game against Grambling, what are some of the strengths that you see in that squad?
Well, you know, when you know that the history of the program and you know just the history of where those guys are, they're going to compete at a high level. It doesn't matter what's going on. And a game of this magnitude, nothing matters. I mean, everybody, that's some of the reason why you go to the university, because of the likes of the Bayou Classic. So they have some strength on, you know, they're going to play strong defensive football right now. In the past, they had their running game, running the guys, the young men, they can run the football, and the quarterback come to age right now. You're talking about at this point in time right now, no one is a freshman. This is the end of the year, so everybody understand, been up watching tape and looking at game tape, so everybody's equal. They're going to play hard. The one thing I do know about Grambling State University, they're going to play hard. It's going to be a 60-minute contest, and I expect both teams to play hard.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we go to Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney. See that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
Yeah, good win for us of a tough Grambling State program. I think our team came out of the gates and started fast. Didn't score on the opening drive, but we flipped the field. Got a stop and got ourselves in position to score early. I think the game came down to us winning on third downs, both offensively and defensively, as well as winning the turnover battle. Defensively, we were able to keep Grambling out of the red zone, and offensively, when we got in the red zone, we were able to cash in on the opportunity. So I think that's why we won the game.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach McKinney.
Good morning, Doc.
I think it can be argued that this is probably the best total game the team has played since you took over the program, certainly in conference play. If the estimation, maybe you can point me to a different one. But
it's one of the better games we've played total as a team. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Wanted to ask a little bit about, with so many things being on the line this weekend, opportunity to have a winning record at the end of the season. Also, the race is still in contention in regards to how you come out of this game. Obviously, some things are not in your control, but you take a long road trip against Alabama A&M. Talk a little bit about, do you put that on the table for your players? Obviously, they talk about a lot of things, so do you focus more about what you're going to do in terms of your game preparation?
Yeah, well, we're treating this week like we've treated every week in the past. You know, this is the most important game of the season. You're right. We have something to play for. We're playing for a win, to have a winning record, and those are the things that we can control. And so, although we'll be paying attention to what happens in some other games, we better focus on the game at hand, because if we don't take care of business in our game, what happens in other games won't matter.
Last question I have for you, Coach, in terms of your ability to rush the ball this past weekend. Obviously, Ladarius Owens had 105 yards, 13 carries, 1 touchdown, but you had 253 yards, so you're able to get it down on the ground by multiple players. Talk a little bit about the ability to run the ball.
Yeah, we have a talented running back group of guys. We were without Ja'Cory Howard this weekend, and some other guys, Kevin Harris and Deion Ford, along with Ladarius Owens, all decided to step up and contribute. I think that just without our offensive line being the group of guys and enjoying being able to run the ball, and it starts with those guys, not our running backs. Our running backs are just running through the holes that are created by our offensive line. I think our offensive line did a tremendous job of allowing us the ability to rush the ball.
Point well taken. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Morning, Coach. I hope you and everybody are well. Just talk a little bit about Andrew Body and his development and what he's been able to do so far.
Yeah, Andrew's developing great. You know, he stepped on campus from day one. He took on a leadership role, and he's worked extremely hard, both in the classroom, in the weight room, in the film room, and he's just developing into a great quarterback. We're excited about his continued growth, and we're excited about him leading this team, and you know, we're just lucky and happy to have him.
Coach, up next, A&M. What are you seeing when you look on tape and look at Alabama A&M?
It's in a tough team. You know, they've had some tough breaks, but they play extremely hard defensively. Great in the special teams game, and we know what they can do offensively. They can be explosive at any point in time, and so we got our hands full in all 3 phases of the game, and we just hope we can come out and play, continue to play a complete game as we did this past weekend.
Coach, in closing, the SWAC West, how the West was won. Just talk a little bit about how competitive it is going down the stretch.
Extremely competitive. I think, the teams in the SWAC West are really similar. You can, on any given Saturday, any team can beat its opponent. So you got to come and play your A game each week in and week out, and hopefully you can have a chance to come out on top.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You do the same.
Next question goes to Ernest Riggs.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Ernest
How's
Riggs,
it going?
MTV Sports. Awesome. Coach, I had a question. What was it like managing and paying attention to Andrew's body during the last game? I know he had there was a reported like sickness going into the game. What was it like managing him during that game?
Andrew manages himself, and I don't think anything or anyone could have kept him away from this game. We have a great group of doctors, a great training staff, and we allow them to handle the medical side of it. Andrew wants to be there to lead his team, and he did what it took to get himself prepared, from an illness, and he just displayed to his team how tough he is and how much this team means to him. So with that attitude, guys are more willing to go out there and give their all to play for Andrew.
Coach, thank you. How often do you talk to Mr. Body about the next level in life after his time at Texas Southern?
Well, we don't talk about the next level as often as you may think. We're focused on improving him for this level, and so each week it's about him just improving his game as a quarterback, improving our team, and if he continues to improve, the next level will happen.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jeff Lightsey Jr.
Hey, Coach McKinney, Jeff Lightsey Jr., how's it going?
Good. How's it going, Joe?
I'm good. Now, Coach, you still have one game left, but you guys were picked to finish at the bottom of the West. And to see that you guys have had a pretty good season, what does that say about you, your staff, and your team to see that you're fighting for that top spot in the slot in the SWAC championship game at the end of the season?
Well, it says that we're a resilient group. The staff, the team. We know that we're not the worst team in the SWAC. We knew that going into it. It was just a matter of us going out and showing it. And so we feel like we've laid a solid foundation, and we're putting ourselves in position to win some of these games and be in the conversation as far as the SWAC West. And we hope to just continue to build on that.
And just a quick follow-up. You're going into this game, like I said, with a chance to obviously need some help, but potentially making that SWAC championship game. What would that mean if you're able to get this victory and some craziness plays out and you end up in the SWAC championship game?
That would be great for the program, great for recruiting. Hopefully it works out that way, but our focus is Alabama A&M. And so if we don't take care of business versus Alabama A&M, none of that really means anything. So hopefully a week from now we'll be talking, and I'll be able to give you more information. But our focus right now is Alabama A&M.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Got time for one more question for Coach McKinney, Texas Southern. Final questions for Coach. Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Jackson State. Coach Sanders with the Tigers. About a minute ahead of schedule for Coach Sanders' availability. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, just a reminder, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coach. And we ask that you please wait till you're called upon prior to asking your question. And please leave your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question. You see Coach is about to join us. Once again, for all our media attendees, please make sure that you have your lines muted unless you are actively asking a question. Please limit your questions to one initial question, follow-up question. If we do have availability in our coaches' time slots, we will circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, joined by Coach Sanders with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Alabama.
I need to see them. I'm sorry. We got to get my little thing. I need to see them.
It's not letting me.
I let you every week. I ain't letting you know.
Is Coach pinned as the viewer right now?
Yes, sir. He is pinned.
Yep. Can you unpin him so he can see everyone?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I like to see faces, man. I got some distinct men and women on here that I look forward to seeing every week.
Sure. Is that better, Sam?
Now I think the SWAC one is pinned, the SWAC office. You just like to see it.
Yep. Hold on one second. Let me see if we can get that fixed.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, absolutely. Charles, can you do a test for me and see if you can speak to see if it's unpinned there?
Mic check 1, 2. Mic check ABC.
Okay.
That's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like across.
Put on the gallery.
Yeah.
It's not letting me.
Be that gallery view.
It's not even coming up as an option.
Don't worry about it. Let's go. I don't need that. I don't want to see the SWAC thing right there. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
For some reason it's not doing that.
Yeah.
Jump on that.
Yeah.
Andrew, what about now? We're seeing you pinned.
Should be.
Again.
Andrew, can you hear us?
Sir. Sir.
All right. We can't see Coach though. Like it's pinned on you right now.
Okay. Is that?
I'm sorry. No, it's not working. We're going to go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm a man. I like consistency. So I like to see what I like to see every week. And I like to see our wonderful persons that are taking their time out to do this. Wonderful game last week versus A&M. Coach Maynor had his team ready to play. They came out. They didn't lay down whatsoever. They really were ready and prepared. They stumbled up on a running game that gave us problems. We surrendered more yards than we've surrendered rushing in quite some time. 21 first downs, 80 plays, 325 yards, 215 rushing yards, time possession, 33 minutes. We lost the time possession, which we don't normally lose. Also, 12 penalties, 110 yards, second straight game with plus 10 penalties. That's not who we are. So, of course, we had a wonderful meeting about that to try to bring some solvency to those problems. We did win the game, though. That was a bonus. That was a plus. I'm proud of the coaching staff, the fans, the young men that's playing for us, and all involved, the support staff. But we plan on doing better and coming out better with the task that we have this week with Alcorn.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
I wanted to ask, obviously Shador put out a tweet, Chu feels great. He's ready to play this week.
Yeah.
But when he went down, what was it like for you? You guys have such a special relationship, father-son, but to transition from coach to dad when Shador went down?
Well, really, I was still coach as I was walking out there because we pride ourselves on being tough and physically tough. We've only had 2 guys go down on the field this season that we actually had to go out to bring back. He got up. That's what we do. He got up and he came on back to the sideline, but he was a little cloudy, and we administered to that, but he was good. Then when I went into the tent, then asking then I was scolding him as a coach, like, we told you to get down. I told you to get down several times in the last few weeks, but you still act like you want to run the darn ball. Like you Lamar Jackson, man. We don't need Lamar right now. We need Shador Sanders. So I think he learned his lesson. You will see some of the best slides that you ever seen before this week, I promise you. You're going to think he's a baseball player with the way he's going to be sliding.
No doubt. Quick follow-up, Coach. Aubrey Miller, his play. He came in with you in the spring of 20 season, but talk a bit about his maturation as a player under your tutelage.
Well, forget the player part, the person. Maturation of the person is what we wanted to see him mature and be consistent on and off the field and not seek praise from people instead of just going out there and balling and just doing your thing and knowing who you are and that what you're capable of. And he's rewarded with an invite to the Senior Bowl, as well as Dallas Daniels, East and West, right? Dallas Daniels received the invite to the East and West Shrine Bowl. I believe that's what they call it. It's been so long since I even thought about those games. But we have guys like that are really great for the program. I mean, they're smart, tough, fast, disciplined kids with character, tremendous amount of character, both of those young men. And I'm thankful that they were rewarded, them both. And we should have a couple more guys that gets rewarded before the conclusion of the season as well.
No doubt. Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you, boss man.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Travis has been back for a few weeks. He got his first touchdown and his first interception last week in the game was Alabama A&M. How would you assess his performance since coming back from injury?
Well, I believe he's only probably given up one pass on a slant that really didn't hurt us. I don't even know if it was a first down this season, 1 or 2 at the most. And I can't believe they even tried him like that. I really can't, because you keep trying him, he's going to come up with that ball. They're lucky that he didn't house that thing. But Travis is more than what they say he is. The way he practices, the way he prepares, the way he goes about his business is that of a pro. And he's learning more and more each week. And then we just got on him about lifting. You know, he in the weight room don't really get along. I told him they better learn how to cope with each other and like each other, and they better get married in the off season. So once he learns that and understands how prominent that is to his body, and he's going to be all right. But I love what he brings to the table. He's a threat offensively, defensively, special teams. Anytime he's on the field, you got to understand where 12 is.
A quick follow-up, Coach. Last weekend, you guys won your 10th straight game. First time in school history. You guys have gone 10-0. You guys are undefeated in the SWAC as well. What would it mean for you and the program to finish off the regular season unbeaten in the SWAC and head off to the championship game?
Well, that's the plan. That's always been the plan. We've been screaming and preaching, dominate all season. At the conclusion of last season, when we regrouped and really sat down and thought about why we came up short, and that's what we've been preaching. That's the goal. That's the objective. So that's what we plan on doing. And the kids are 100% for it. The staff is. We don't never say the word buying in because it's like we selling something. We ain't selling nothing, and we are who we are. But the kids are truly dedicated, and that's the goal. That's been the goal since day one.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're well. It's James Hill with James Hill Sports. Rivalries, Florida State, Miami, the state championship, Cowboys, Yankees and Red Sox. Rivalries, Jackson State and Alcorn. Just talk about the rivalry week in the SWAC.
Well, I'm just getting to understand the rivalries as well. But I tell you what, shoot, they have a wonderful head coach over there, and Coach McNair. They a storied school, university. I have the utmost respect. When I tell you the utmost respect, to me, Coach McNair is truly one of the leaders. He's a pillar of the HBCU legacy. When I was at where was it? Oh, Southern Miss visiting down there with Shador, they were playing against Southern Miss, and I took it upon myself on a visit to Southern Miss to go in his locker room and meet him and his kids. So that's how much love and respect and admiration I have for Coach. And he's a gift. He's a gift to the SWAC. He's always been a gift to any coaching unit that he's been a part of, and I just got love for him. So going to the game, it's a tremendous game. It's a close proximity rivalry, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Coach, Shador is spreading the wealth, so to speak. Mr. Hooks, Hunter got one, Stevens and Gaines. Just talk about Shador as he continues to carve them up like turkeys.
Well, I didn't think he played well throwing the football. We didn't play well throwing the football last week. 14 for 25. That's horrible. 4 TD passes. I accept that, but he's known for his accuracy. That wasn't indicative to who he is, and missing that many targets. When we're missing that many targets, we got to reevaluate our game plan, our route structure, and all of that, because that's not who Shador is, missing that many targets and in only 25 attempts. He's growing. He's doing what he needs to do, but we throw the ball to the man that's open. That's why it's a blessing to play receiver for Jackson State. It's no favorites. Whoever gets open, they get the ball. But when it's one-on-one and the other team is playing man, then he takes his choice or where that ball goes. But that's pretty much predetermined by how these guys practice during the week. A quarterback goes to what he trusts and who he knows is going to come down with the ball for him. So that's kind of the way he plays his game. But it's great to play receiver for Jackson State, because that ball is going to find you if you're open.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You as well, my man.
Got time for 2 more questions. First one goes to Jeff Lightsey Jr.
Coach, it's Jeff Lightsey Jr. How's it going?
Great, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, I just have a question. You put out a video about addressing and talking to your team about addressing rumors, coaching rumors with your name. Why is it important? We understand why it's important to tell your team, but why is it important for you to put that out for the media and for the public to see that these are conversations that you have with your team, and it's like, hey, ain't nothing going on?
We put everything out. And it wasn't just that. I mean, you get to see what I say in the meetings every morning, every day. We don't address that and just keep that a secret. This is the way we recruit, man. The social media is the way we recruit. We don't have the lofty budgets and all the things that recruiting budgets may give you. We don't have all that. So social media is the way we do everything. A multitude of these players that are here now saw us on social media and wanted to be a part of the feeling emotion. Who's that? Okay. Bucky, don't get fired on the spot in public while I'm doing media. We're talking about media and you come in like you Santa. So that's the way we do things. We don't shy away from the truth. I want people to know where I stand and how I get down and how I move. So we don't shy away from it. That's why it's important to put out. We put out all the good stuff. You got to put the bad with the good, the questionable things as well. We are equal opportunity employer around here.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, boss.
Last question goes to Zach McKinney.
How you doing, Coach? This weekend, you guys got a huge game against Alcorn State in the Soul Bowl. They bring in the SWAC's leading rusher and Jarvion Howard. Just watching film on the team and how they approach the run game, what are some of the biggest things that you've noticed on how you guys are going to have to slow him down this weekend?
Well, he's a big back and he can run the ball really well. The way we slow a rusher down is to score points. Because when you're scoring points and hopefully you're up by 14 or 20, it's hard to just turn around and hand the ball off, because that takes time. And also it's not easy to get down the field slowly but surely. When someone has a distinct running game, you got to understand it's going to take at least 10 to 12 plays to even get it to the paint. That's a lot of attempts for something not to go wrong. It's going to be offsides. It's going to be holding. It's going to be something if you're trying to sustain a 12 to 15 play drive, especially when many teams have the propensity to be penalized. And I'm trying to say that politely as I can, but we are one of the most penalized teams in HBCUs and MEACs. We're penalized. We got to get more discipline. So we're going to tremendously have to stop the run. We do know that, but the goal is stopping the run is to score points.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, my man.
Coach Sanders, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you all. God bless you, brothers.
Thank you. This concludes our